Welcome back to another episode of my trading vlog, where most of the views come from returning subscribers. If that's you, please give me a like. If not, consider subscribing. I'm going to be going over a lot today. SPY, AMC, GameStop, Tesla, Bitcoin, PLBY, NVDA. I'm going to hit all the things. It's going to be a longer video. Stay tuned. Just let it play in the background. Listen to me walk you through these charts. I'm looking at AMC currently on the 15-minute time frame. As price passed below the 450 level, this confirmed wave C for me in a corrective move heading lower, which I believe has a target at 358. We've seen a bounce at that 403 level, which completed the first measured move down, and what I believe is a complex measured move down that's playing out. But what we've seen is a bounce from there, and now perhaps we're going to be moving up higher. There could be a reversal here. It's important to acknowledge that. This horizontal triangle, which is a pennant in Bulkowski chart pattern analysis, suggests that the price is going to rally to 457 or 481. There is a downtrend here between those two price levels, and so I'm reading this as if there's an upward breakout from this pennant that will be challenging that downtrend, and the price extreme towards 481 seems pretty realistic. It really does. There's a bearish divergence in the charts, which technically I think resolved as soon as the RSI reached oversold. So perhaps this isn't the best, but sometimes the RSI can give us trends, and that's kind of what I'm following there. We've seen that break as price rose above and reached 440 outside of that pennant. It's possible that the pennant actually is a little taller than I think, and we could see that extend out for a little ways into the future going into next week. 4th of July is going to, of course, close the markets. It's going to be a weird trading week that week. It is. You can see that the implied volatility down here made a weird flip as price started to rally and then failed to fall below the prior valley. This is kind of bullish. Honestly, it kind of looks like a little bullish push here might be in the works. I'm still expecting personally to see 358, and we really could test this downtrend first. And in fact, that's probably the best analysis, is that we were likely to see a downtrend test, and then if it's rejected, we'll go down to that 358 target, and if not, then I'll revise my Elliott wave count. There's always multiple possible Elliott wave counts. Elliott wave analysis is not necessarily predictive, but it's a good way to give context to the chart patterns that appear. For example, pennants. Moving on from AMC, I want to go talk about GameStop. GameStop looks like it could be in a flag, and you can kind of see that here. Around June 27th, we started this big push higher, and we formed a bearish divergence, which held, and it formed a failure pattern in the RSI. You can see that here. There's like these twin peaks, even 3 peaks. When you get multiple hits on the overbought side of the RSI like this, it typically signals the top of a motive wave. And I'm going to go into that into a little more detail when I go show the PLBY chart. I've done some analysis there, and I want to cover that. I know that a lot of these charts don't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, and I want to share the understanding. That's what the vlog is about. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be towards the end of the video. I know it's going to be a long one. It's okay. Just bear with me. You can see that implied volatility down here at the bottom is rising as the price is rising as well. We've currently broken a short-term uptrend, and that's okay. This corrective cycle, they tend to do that, especially in a flag. Flags are formed by flag pulls, which are very strong rallies heading higher. They're very sharp, so of course they can't go on forever. They fail. Excuse me. When we get these flags, which generally form in channels like this, we may have seen a downward breakout. I don't really think so. When I see the RSI reach oversold or overbought at the end of a corrective cycle, that typically means it's over, and we're about to see that reversal and a continuation of the initial impulse, which in this case is the flagpole heading higher. Impulse, reaction, or actionary, reactionary. Call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. If we get that upward breakout from that flagpole, I'm going to be doing a simple measured move target like this, where I just take the extension tool, take it to the top, take it to the bottom, and then scroll up and see where it's at. And here it's at 26.62. There's an important level at 26.37. If we get extension, we're looking at 28.08. I've been talking about how GameStop may be able to reach up into the 30s, and that's actually related to a different chart pattern, which I show on the hourly or on the daily time frame here. And this is perhaps a leading diagonal triangle. You might be looking at this and saying, Cap, that's a rising wedge. How could you call it anything else than a rising wedge? Well, here's the thing. Those chart patterns, they come from Elliott wave form analysis and then statistical analysis. If we have a rising diagonal like this, and between opposing trend line touches, we have alternating waves of 5 and 3, this could signal a leading diagonal triangle in which we're actually looking for a large reversal to the in this case, upside, because the trend that preceded it was down. I show that in this channel with the red dashed lines and the motive wave count there, shown in blue. 1, 2, and then 3 is somewhere down there. There it is. 4 and 5 here truncating. It looks like 3 waves, doesn't it? Interesting. This formed a double bottom, which technically confirmed as price closed above that $24 level. We've seen the price kind of spin on that level. It's an important level, specifically 25.51. I'm talking about 25.51 on Twitter and my past videos. Get above 25.51, show me an upward breakout from this leading diagonal triangle, and we'll start targets in the 30s, and that will be fantastic. I think people will be really happy to hear that and see that. It has, after all, been a very long time since we've seen that big rally up to 90, and it really wasn't 90 at the time, of course, everyone knows that. At any rate, if this is a larger pattern playing out, the targets start to get really exciting. I'm not going to be saying that we're going there, not for a while. We're still a long way off. The alternative wave count here, remember, there's always multiple possible and correct Elliott wave counts. The alternative analysis is that, yes, rising wedge, and if rising wedge, target can come down as low as $3, which is ridiculous. Honestly, I don't think that's what we're going to be heading for, because GameStop is fundamentally a better company than it was in the past, and it continues to improve, I believe. Moving on from GameStop and AMC, I want to touch on, let's go to Bitcoin next. I know a lot of people are watching Bitcoin with a lot of hype. I've seen a lot of hype. I'm a very anti-hype kind of a guy. And again, these chart drawings are on the hourly time frame, but I want to show this long period of time, so I have to stay in the daily time frame, and that means that these trend lines are going to be based on the extremes within the days, the intraday price action less the close of the day. Remember, line charts only show the close, not the high open, or not the high and the low, or the open even, just the close. There was a broadening pattern through here, which we call a reverse horizontal triangle. It looks like I have this labeled in waves of 3. When you have a reverse, or not even just a reverse, but a horizontal triangle in wave B, specifically wave B, it generally typically means that you're going to get wave C, which will push in the same direction as the wave that preceded wave B. In this case, that's up. So we had wave A move up, and this is corrective because we're breaking a downtrend. Motive was heading down, and now we have corrective heading up. So wave A for up, B for triangle, and C for up as well, reaching that target at 31,345. I've gone over this a lot, made that target, and we've reached it. This green, negative 176%. If you're wondering what that is, it's the ugly double bottom target from this pattern right back here, from this uptrend, which is still holding. In fact, I'm just going to pull that out. You can see that we may even be in what I call an accelerated trend, which is another trend through here since we've hit a high. I'm just going to go ahead and put this down. Sometimes what happens is we get a bigger move overall, and this unfolds and fractals into a larger pattern, which could really push the price much higher. If that's the case, we're going to be looking for a secondary channel, and that channel would be wave 3. All of a sudden, all of these corrective waves, they build into a motive wave. We're going to go ahead and just draw this as a channel and see what that would look like, and say that if we get an upward breakout from this recent price action, which I'll zoom into the hourly time frame to show, and which you can clearly see is probably a flag of some sort pretty easily. It's not a high and tight flag. I would say that it's kind of like a loose flag. This is a thing. Go on to Bukowski's website, thepatternsight.com, but you can tell that there's like a rectangle up here, and the price is bouncing between these two levels after running really hard. If we get an upward breakout above that 31,345 level, then we could easily be targeting 37,000, and you can see that this encounters that channel that we just drew somewhere around mid to late July. What is that? 3 to 4 weeks, conservatively 3 to 4 weeks to reach that price target if we get above the 31,345 level. Very interesting, isn't it? You can see that the implied volatility through here is doing something, isn't it? Implied volatility rose as price ran, and then it dropped as price entered a corrective phase. Yes, the corrections. This would be wave B in a correction. We could even possibly draw some sort of like triangle through here. If you want to call that a triangle, that's fine. In which case, this would be motive wave 1. And I see that the RSI is peaking here, hitting overbought a couple times. Very possible that this little push from that 30,000 level to 31,300. This could be a motive wave. The recent dip could be a small correction, and we're actually about to see motive push up and higher. This is very bullish. Honestly, it just is, unless we get that downward breakout. Even then, bearish reversal, I still believe that this $26,000 level is the best level to mark a bearish reversal on a large degree. When I'm saying bearish or bullish, it's really important to remember degrees, periods of time. Like on the dollar, let's go to the dollar really quickly, and for just a minute, it's been a while since I've updated the dollar. There has been a lot of discussion about what the dollar is doing. We came down, found a falling wedge, pushed higher, and reversed. And I caught this reversal, I caught this reversal, and I caught this reversal. But it took a long time to find this bottom at about the 100.9 level. I was calling that that reversal would occur all the way through this downtrend, saying this is a reactionary trend, it's going to be fine, and sure enough, price did pull up, but now we're grinding sideways. And there's a lot of analysis here. I'm going to need to zoom into the hourly time frame to really make it make sense. Yes, it's very possible that this is the top of wave 3. We've seen wave 4, 5, now A, B, and C for B. And we're looking for wave C now. This could be A, B, and C, creating a flat through here. We could be looking at a motive wave heading higher, but I think the best analysis is going to be describing this price as moving through a triangle, where we've had a touch point here back in March. We've come down and found the next touch point in April, next touch point in May, next touch point maybe we find that in July or late June. It could be that we see A, B, and maybe actually this is better. This would be a better explanation, A, B, and C. And that would give us a motive wave through here for A, and then a corrective wave for B. That looks really good, actually. And so this motive wave count through here would become invalid, and I need to describe this as either, well, it's possible this is A, 1, 2, 3, and C. This is really weird. I'm going to talk about it. I've observed this, that sometimes we get these weird patterns within triangles where waves A and B are super short and wave C crosses the pattern for the entire set of waves, and we end up drawing these pennants or these triangles like this. And it's like, wow, that third wave touches that trend line twice. Yeah, it does. It's weird, but that's what we could be observing here. We could also use this touch point, well, let's use this one, and pull it up to the recent low and say that we're moving through a horizontal triangle on that degree. Maybe I can do something like this, and we'll back out a little bit. We can draw that a little cleaner, a little less cluttered chart. You can see that I have a lot of charts, and that's because there's always multiple potential counts. In fact, this is probably the most important downtrend right there. And on the daily time frame, you can see what I was talking about, how sometimes we get these 3 waves where you get two consecutive touches along a trend line, and that'd be waves B and C. It's like A, B, C, and then A. This could be B. Maybe we get C pushing down. I don't know yet. But anyway, that's enough about that in the dollar. Let's go back to Bitcoin, because that's where we were. My point here is that we could be seeing an extension. We really could, and we could see some very bullish targets. There's been a bearish divergence break. Occasionally, when the bearish divergence breaks, we get one more big strong push, and that signals our high for that move, and then we'll enter into a corrective phase. Hitting that 37,000 level would certainly do the trick, and we'd be then drawing a larger channel. And in the long term, it could be a really bullish thing. It really could be. It could be a massive triangle too. Like, just imagine if this is like the top level of a big triangle, and this is just the beginning of something like this. Like, this is very plausible. This is very plausible. I would almost expect that. Going to Tesla, let's go into the hourly time frame here. There was a broadening pattern through here. We were able to forecast the downward breakout to 239 from this pattern, from the partial rise, as price failed to pass above 267. That was a target for wave C, which we obviously hit and then topped out at. We've now seen the price pull back up into this pattern, which is pretty common. It's not that surprising, and I wouldn't want to be bullish again until we get past really the peak of wave C. Wave C is motive, and commonly enough, wave 5 of the 5-wave motive form fails to pass above the top of wave 3, in which case we could see a test of that high at 279 before we start spilling downward. There is a small bearish divergence present here. You can see the RSI is peaking out towards 71 or 72 as the price is setting a higher high. This is bearish divergence. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see a reversal. It just likely signals that we're going to see a correction or the bearish divergence break, and that will signal the high at that time. You can notice that implied volatility here is dropping as price is obviously in correction. Sometimes we get wave B at the end of a motive wave like C, and in which case it would not be a horizontal triangle. This would actually be wave probably A. And again, waves A and C are both motive, and I have to go back and revise my counts, but it's possible that after a big rally like this, we actually get a triangle, which may form something like this, and that would be a bullish thing, really. It would be a bullish thing. Implied volatility through that time would drop, and we would see the RSI start to settle down a little bit as the averages become a little tighter. Volume seems to be dropping. I'm going to go into the daily time frame to get an idea of what that volume looks like here. Looks like we've had a decrease in volume, a lot of selling volume towards that top and decreasing green bars. The 30-period average here shown in yellow is rising. This could be a high volume top. It's important to remember that. And implied volatility, of course, on the daily time frame is dropping. We're going to need to see a push out of the trading range here as well, between 240 and 280. Between there, anything is fair game. It's in a similar position as GameStop, I feel. All right, that was Tesla, Bitcoin, GameStop, AMC, SPY. Let's go to NVIDIA, and I'm going to turn on a candlestick chart here. This was a massive rally. It's just insane. And we broke above the earnings flag, and this is a bullish thing. It really is. And we're pushing above that 419 level, which is also very bullish. This could be a half staff formation, in which case all of this is the first half of this big push higher, which is like crazy. Like, are you kidding? And like, no. That could happen. I'm personally expecting a top towards 478, but we'll see when we get there. Volume remains pretty high. There's been this bearish divergence through here. It's very possible that we're going to see NVIDIA do one of these things where it just like grinds up here forever and price sets new high after new high after new high, and it's a bubble and everyone goes crazy, and then the markets top out. Pop. Looking at PLBY, I said I was going to go into this into quite some detail. I don't know if I really will or not. We've had a really couple good days. You can see this V bottom form through here with a handle, which I'm very happy about. And this is the motive wave count that I was preparing to share, but this video is already too long and probably no one's watching. But in the minuet degree, waves 1, 2, and 3 are shown here, and in yellow you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alternation between waves 2 and 4. The uptrend has broken in the larger degree at the minute wave, and we're seeing this cycle target 166. Once we've hit 166, I'm going to call that wave 2 or B. Remember, there's always multiple possible wave counts, so this could also be wave B. But I'm expecting wave 2, and when we get the upward breakout above 186, we're going to be targeting wave 3 towards $2. That's what I have for today's video. It's way too long. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit subscribe. Happy trading.